5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Deducter bringing you set 3 of KT Rolster vs SKT1. The series is tied up at 1-1. And today we have finally SKT1 bringing out its big gun, Bisu, the assassin himself at the 12 o'clock position as the purple Protoss. There's Bisu. Versus him is, unfortunately, Action, who, well, he is KT's best Zerg and has a 51% win rate against Protoss, which is, okay. He doesn't really stand much of a chance against Bisu. This is the map alternative, by the way. If I were to, I wanted to say, betting money and stuff, but that just reminds me of Savior, and opens a whole can of worms. But let's say hypothetically, if I had to bet on one of these players, or rather, if I had to bet on Action, I would want at least 10-1 odds against Bisu here. I think Action, I mean, anything can happen in Pro StarCraft, but against Bisu, Action doesn't stand a chance. The way I foresee Action winning is either he does something completely insane, like go for an early Hydra break, that could work. He has gone for an overpool, it looks like. So maybe he can translate this into some sort of early rush, but Bisu with his scouting probe sees everything, and Bisu can keep the probe alive forever. He knows what's going to happen. Bisu, I would give him odds on favorite to be able to pick off a drone with his probe. And look at that, he's attacking through the mineral line. Bisu. I mean, his greatest unit is Dark Templar, but his second best has got to be the probe. He's picking away at these drones. Bisu putting down his forge. He knows his overpool. He needs to do Forge Cannon. Well, he might stick around with his probe to see what exactly is going to come out. Bisu is actually one of the fastest Protoss players around. I'm not sure what his APM is. I know it's over 300. I've heard that some games he averaged 400, although I could be wrong about that. Usually Protoss aren't the fastest, but Bisu is super fast. Even for any pro gamer, he's a very fast player. It looks like Forge Cannon, yep, as expected. We'll see whether these are Zerglings or drones. Zerglings, it looks like, so Action's going to put on some early pressure. Fortunately for Action, it's not going to bother Bisu at all. He's going to be able to put down the Nexus, and then, if necessary, he can always pull a few probes, but he should be able to put down his gateway to block without much of a problem. Alternative is not particularly good for Zerg, I feel, because it's difficult to set up your 4-gas base. The best you can do is 3 bases. 3 gas, 3 bases easily, and unfortunately, even your 3rd base will be open to 2 avenues of attack. Bisu's probe still alive against all these Zerglings. Seems like practically forever. Looks like we have 3 hatcheries before the extractor, and now Bisu pulling his probe out. Looks like he's going to try to save this probe. So, Action, Bisu's still scouting around a bit with his probe, doing his best to see what exactly is going on. Maybe now he's going to pull back his probe. So, we'll see whether Action has anything clever. I think if Action goes standard, he cannot win. Bisu is too good. But if Action does something unexpected, perhaps he has a chance. Unless Action has suddenly gotten miraculously better, which I doubt. Bisu now scouting the base at the 9 o'clock. He knows exactly what's going on, and here we see Bisu's first-person view. Microing that probe round, still alive. Still, I mean, just an epic probe. And we have sort of a hidden hatchery for Action. He's put down 4 hatcheries before upgrading to layer, I believe. Yeah. So this might be some sort of fast break build. I think I saw Calm do this, I believe. And Calm did it quite well against, I forget who the Protoss was. Free, I believe. Yeah, Calm versus Free. Even though I berated Calm for having poor control over his units that game, he still won pretty convincingly. However, this is no Free. This is Bisu. And Calm is actually, one of the cleverer Zerg players around, whereas Action, really mediocre in most respects. So the situation is not quite the same. Bisu still with his scouting probe alive, still running around the map, leading that Zergling on a merry chase there. Bisu is absolutely incredible. Now he's going to have a Stargate, and let's see whether he manages to scout this out. Finally, his probe getting ambushed and killed at the 5-minute mark, it looks like. Bisu not going to be bothered. He's going to have his Corsair out to see what's going to happen. Whoa, Bisu's moving so fast, it's really making me kind of dizzy. I have to look up at the commentators. If you try to look at his first-person view, I'm getting honestly kind of nauseous looking at this. Way too fast for me to follow. Me, a mere mortal, and Bisu, at the very least, a demigod. I mean, if the Bonjois are gods, surely Bisu is a demigod. Anyway, here we have Robobay coming out for Bisu. Interesting. Is he going for Corsair Reaver? Or maybe he's just going for Dark Templar drop or something like that. I have not seen Sid, though. He might just be going for some other sort of drop. He's going to kill an Overlord. He's going to scout out what's going on. Hopefully he sees the additional hatchery. I'm not sure whether Bisu sees it. He might have. I don't know. But Bisu might not have seen it. He's bringing his Corsairs out to kill Overlords. He's going to be able to kill 2, it looks like. And I do not think there is a Spire down yet for action. So he's basically seated air superior for now. Robotic support bait going out for Bisu. This might be Corsair Reaver. I'm a little surprised why Bisu did not put down a second Stargate. Usually you need 2 Stargates. I mean, Corsair Reaver is devastating against this sort of hyper-expansionistic Zerg. As long as you use the Corsair Reaver, you know, to actually attack and not just sit in your base, that's a recipe for disaster. But if you decide to attack with your Corsair Reaver, there's not much Zerg can do. And Bisu pushing out with a few Zealots, putting on a bit of early pressure. He has not scouted the early 4th hatchery, by the way, so Bisu does not quite know what's going on. Just now the Spire is going down, and they really love showing Bisu's first-person view. Yes, I get it, it's very impressive, but maybe the Korean viewer, the average Korean viewer, is able to follow it much better than I am. I mean, after all, that is, they are significantly better at StarCraft. So let's see. We have Bisu scouting around with some more Corsairs. He's got a Reaver out. He has not got a Shadow out. Surely it's building now. He's going to try to put on some early pressure. Hopefully, for action, he's going to at least try to get some Scourge. Bisu with the +1 upgrade already finished. Yeah, Bisu is one of the few players who can execute Corsair Reaver very well. Bisu, I think Stork. Stork, I would argue, is probably the better practitioner, although that's a dangerous statement to make. Bisu running amok with these Overlords, slaughtering with these Corsairs, slaughtering all these Overlords, willing to sacrifice some of his Corsairs to do the damage that he needs to do. He lost 2 Corsairs, but 3 Corsairs, but he's killed so many Overlords. That's got to be at least 4 or 5 Overlords there. That's going to supply block action for sure now. Bisu loading up a probe. Okay, he's also putting down Templar Archive, so he's going to go for Dark Templar too. This might be some sort of crazy Dark Templar Reaver combined harass. Oh, Bisu's going to get this island expansion. I've never seen that expansion grabbed actually before. And Bisu, with his Corsairs, still doing massive damage. Now he's going to come in with a Reaver. Action did not see this coming. 3 drones going down already. 2 more drones going down, forcing all the units to pull back. Sunken down now. There for action, but Bisu with a nice harass. Action is going to be in a bit of a pickle here. He's going to know that there's a Reaver out. If he can manage to pick out the Shuttle, he'll be fine. Unfortunately for Bisu, he has loaded a Zealot in there to absorb damage for him. So Bisu escapes with his Shuttle. He's got speed on the Shuttle too. Oh man, this is what I mean. Watching Bisu play against Zerg is so unfair for the Zerg because Action, he's at least responded fairly well. He's upgraded Overlord speed, but you know, he's bleeding units left and right, and he's completely on the defensive here. I mean, he is responding to Bisu's moves. That's never a good position to be in. Fortunately for Action, he has a few Hydras in his main, able to ward off this Shuttle of Bisu's. So, but Bisu will have Dark Templar soon. He's probably going to attack like at 3 different positions at once. He's going to knock out Overlords at one base and sending Dark Templar and then Reaver drop somewhere else. I don't think Action's going to be able to keep up with this sort of action. All the while, Bisu's going to be macroing like a fiend. Fortunately for Action, he's gotten Burrow. That's good. He might be able to spring a trap on Bisu, and this Dark Templar might get picked off. No, the Dark Templar barely survives, but I think Action is going to have Overlords in position to spot it, so the first Dark Templar of Bisu is not really doing too much. Unfortunately, might be able to kill a few drones. No! Burrow! Cleverly! Action being, this is what he needs to do. You know, you can't fight Bisu standard. Getting Burrow, excellent move here. So if Bisu wants to attack Action with Corsair Reaver, he's going to... And Scourge coming, wiping out a good chunk of Bisu's Air Force. Bisu manages to escape with 3 Corsairs, it looks like. Action taking back the initiative in the game, dealing some damage to Bisu and shutting down some of his attacks, but Bisu is by no means out of this game. He's got a 3rd base up. Action spots this, of course. Still, it's difficult to assault Protoss that entrenches themselves up there. Especially with Reavers, you know, and a bunch of cannons, it's going to be nigh impenetrable. Looks like we have Mulus out here for Action, trying to chase away at these Corsairs. Picking off one of the Corsairs, maybe even get a 2nd Corsair. So good job by Action, and perhaps Action is going to be in decent position this game. Bisu not really fully committing to Corsair Reaver, not really committing too much to the Dark Templar either. Sort of trying different approaches to see what works, but unfortunately against Action, not quite able to pull it off. However, Bisu is at 3 bases against 4 of Action's. So he's going to be fine in terms of resource intake, and his 3rd base is difficult to assault, and he got it pretty early. Still, this is going to be probably a later game matchup, and I fear the longer the game goes, the more it's going to be in Bisu's hands. Bisu knows how to fight in the late game. He knows how to control different armies at the same time and do harass. He's dropped a Zealot, he's dropped a 2nd Zealot, and a Reaver, and he's going to do damage. In the main, Burrow saving the drones there for Action, and he's burrowed at his Natro too. Bisu, oh, the shuttle with the Reaver getting killed by Mulus. Nice use of Mulus. And Action with nice defense this game, I have to say, against Bisu. So Action is showing that he has thought about how to play